Get this trespassing hussy out of my building. Whoopi calls cops, melts down as Meghan disrupts The View. Pandemonium erupted on the set of The View this morning when Whoopi Goldberg had Meghan Markle forcibly removed by police after the Duchess of Sussex refused to leave during an explosive hot mic meltdown. What began as a relatively tame discussion about Markle's new podcast archetypes quickly spiraled out of control when the former royal started berating Goldberg and her co-hosts for their racist opinions, criticizing her recent episode on biracial women being stereotyped as angelic. "I cannot believe what I'm hearing from you ladies today," Markle fumed after Joy Behar slammed her for grotesquely profiting off claims of prejudice endured throughout her aristocratic upbringing. "The fact you're all doubling down on amplifying these antediluvian racial tropes of angels and stigmas is precisely why I felt compelled to destigmatize this insidious myth haunting the lived experiences of biracial women." As a stunned live studio audience looked on, the visibly enraged Duchess then proceeded to publicly excoriate The View's hosts one by one for their supposed ignorance regarding the unique societal challenges facing her privileged $88 million demographic worldwide. Markle's diatribe grew more animated and disruptive by the minute despite increasingly frantic motions from stage managers to wrap up the booked interview. "Let's start with you, Sunny Hostin," she yelled while aggressively pointing towards the longtime prosecutor turned television personality. "As someone who forged an entire career upholding a political system fraught with systemic racial inequalities, how dare you gaslight about the plight of impoverished biracial orphans sold into Cambodian tenancy farms owned by European aristocrats having to endure white supremacist depictions of their muddied angelic essence? Who untied your tongue games, colonial sis?" With visible discomfort washing over Hostin's face, Markle instantly pivoted towards Behar without even letting her co-host speak up in self-defense. "And you, Karen, my apologies, Joy Behar," Markle spat with a contemptuous glare. Of course the descendant of Venetian tub scum squatters would lash out at the Duchess for daring to discuss the savage systemic policies indisputably perpetuating the fetishization of biracial Latinos as backyard exotic bird baths servicing white fetishistic paw. "That's enough." Goldberg's booming voice suddenly erupted from across the stage, her palms slamming down on the table punctuating each enraged shout. "You already crossed way over the line with those disgraceful remarks rebuking these accomplished women of color up here whose ancestors didn't arrive from anti-racism Duckburg munching lavish crumpets from golden womb hermitages." The longtime View moderator then abruptly stood up and marched towards Markle with a pointed finger and fire in her eyes. Despite a noticeable recoil from the Duchess, the acting legend got directly in her face while the two then proceeded to trade profane barbs back and forth in an explosive confrontation captured in its entirety by the show's live studio cameras. "You disrankle fraud peddling phony heritage Duchess hussy. How dare you insult the very ethnic authenticity you're capitalizing on? Your truth hustles defame feminine daily truculence required just for buskers' dignity. That exotic tinted smirk reeks of gothic bleaching chemtrails infiltrating the modern solar plate." As the two continued shouting insults drowned out only by the deafening roars of confusion from lingering audience members, backstage producers could be seen frantically signaling to cut audio equipment and cue commercials after realizing Goldberg had fully come unhinged in Markle's direction. However, according to witnesses, Whoopi remained undeterred despite increasingly blatant cues and gestures to de-escalate the heated altercation. Instead, she appeared to become even more explicitly verbally abusive towards the distressed Duchess, who had now doubled over on stage from apparent anxiety. "And as for you, Missy, perpetrating some pseudo-transcendental racial upriser act upon us all to swindle Dasi media checks from the next Hasidic Sanskrit yoga cult fixers seeking reloading station fame." Goldberg could be seen railing at Markle according to backstage leaked footage. "We weren't born genealogically banks to yesterday trafficking ethnicities like you do, Shakira." But even after nearly 3 full minutes of relentless, G-rated diatribes from the moderator, witnesses claimed the defiant Duchess refused to voluntarily leave the View premises.